The rain drummed against the windows of Marta's cafe with the persistence of an old friend asking to come inside. Sarah Chen pressed her palms against the warm ceramic mug, watching the steam curl upward like tiny prayers. She'd been sitting in the same corner booth for 3 hours now, nursing the same cup of chamomile tea and pretending to read the same page of her book. The truth was, she had nowhere else to go. More tea, honey. Marta's voice carried the gentle authority of someone who had spent decades reading the unspoken needs of her customers. She was a woman in her 60s with silver hair pulled back in a practical bun and eyes that seemed to hold all the kindness the world had forgotten to distribute evenly. I should probably go, Sarah said, not making any move to gather her things. I've been taking up your table for too long. Marta slid into the booth across from her uninvited, her joints creaking softly. Child, I've been running this place for 32 years. In all that time, I've learned that when someone sits in my cafe for 3 hours with the same cup of tea, they're not here for the beverage. Sarah's carefully constructed composure began to crack. I lost my job today. Budget cuts. And my roommate, well, let's just say I have until the end of the week to find a new place. She laughed, but it came out hollow. I guess I'm not ready to go home and face the boxes I need to pack. Marta reached across the table and covered Sarah's hand with her own. Her skin was weathered from years of hard work, but her touch was gentle. What do you do? For work, I mean. I was a social worker. Helped kids in the foster system find stable homes. Sarah's voice caught. Ironic, isn't it? I spent my days finding homes for others, and now I can't keep my own. Nothing ironic about it, Marta said firmly. Just means you understand better than most how important home is. She paused, studying Sarah's face. You know, I've been thinking about hiring some help around here. Someone who's good with people, understands what it means to care for others. Sarah blinked. Are you offering me a job? I'm offering you a chance. The pay isn't much, but there's a small apartment upstairs that's been sitting empty. Nothing fancy, but it's warm and dry, and it comes with the position. But you don't even know me. Marta smiled. I know enough. I know you spent your afternoon helping old Mrs. Patterson with her groceries when she dropped them in the parking lot. I saw you through the window. I know you left a $5 tip on a $3 tea tab. And I know that someone who dedicates their life to helping children deserves a helping hand when they need it. Sarah felt tears prick at her eyes. Why would you do this for a stranger? Because 33 years ago, I was the stranger. I had just left an abusive marriage, had nowhere to go, and about $50 to my name. The woman who owned this place before me, Mrs. Eleanor Hartwell, she gave me the same chance I'm giving you. Said kindness was like a river, it only stays fresh if it keeps flowing. That night, as Sarah unpacked her few belongings in the tiny apartment above the cafe, she found a note tucked into the tea canister Marta had left for her. Welcome home, M. 3 months later, Sarah had settled into the rhythm of cafe life. She learned to operate the ancient espresso machine that hissed and gurgled like a temperamental dragon, mastered the art of brewing coffee strong enough to wake the dead but smooth enough to comfort the living, and discovered she had a gift for remembering exactly how each regular customer liked their order. But more than that, she learned to see what Marta saw, the stories behind the faces, the needs that went unspoken, the small kindnesses that could change someone's entire day. It was a Tuesday morning in November when Marcus Williams first stumbled into the cafe. He was 16, maybe 17, with clothes that had seen better days and a backpack that looked like it carried everything he owned. His eyes held that particular wariness that Sarah recognized from her years as a social worker, the look of someone who had learned not to trust easily. He ordered black coffee and a day-old muffin, counting out exact change with the careful precision of someone for whom every penny mattered. When Sarah handed him his order, their eyes met briefly, and she saw something that made her chest tighten with recognition. First time in? She asked casually. He nodded, finding a table in the far corner where he could watch the door. Sarah noticed he made the muffin last 45 minutes, taking tiny bites and sipping the coffee slowly. When he finally left, he bussed his own table and mumbled a quiet, "Thank you," that was almost lost in the ambient noise of the cafe. He came back the next day. And the day after that. On his 4th visit, Sarah noticed he was shivering despite wearing a jacket that was too thin for the increasingly cold weather. When she brought him his usual order, she set down an extra muffin alongside it. "I made too many this morning," she lied smoothly. "Hate to see them go to waste." Marcus looked up at her suspiciously. "I can't pay for it." "Good thing I'm not charging for it then." He stared at the muffin for a long moment before carefully wrapping it in a napkin and tucking it into his backpack. "Thanks," he said quietly. Over the following weeks, Sarah and Marcus developed an unspoken routine. He would come in each morning, order his black coffee and single muffin, and Sarah would find reasons to give him extra food, leftover soup, day-old pastries, sandwiches from cancelled orders. He never asked for anything, never complained, just accepted each small kindness with quiet dignity. One particularly cold morning in December, Marcus didn't show up. Sarah found herself glancing at the door every few minutes, worry gnawing at her stomach. When he still hadn't appeared by noon, she couldn't concentrate on anything else. "Go find him," Marta said, appearing at her elbow with the intuition that seemed to be her superpower. "I don't even know where he lives. Start with where kids like him usually end up when they've got nowhere else to go." Sarah found Marcus huddled in the doorway of an abandoned building 6 blocks away, his too-thin jacket pulled tight around his shoulders. He was pale and shaking, and when he saw her approach, he tried to stand up but swayed dangerously. "Hey," she said gently, crouching down beside him. "You missed your morning coffee." "Didn't have the money today," he admitted, his voice hoarse. "When's the last time you ate something?" He shrugged, which was answer enough. Sarah helped him to his feet, surprised by how light he felt. "Come on, let's get you warmed up." Back at the cafe, Sarah settled Marcus in the corner booth with a bowl of soup and a grilled cheese sandwich while Marta fussed over him like a worried grandmother. As color slowly returned to his cheeks, the story came out in fragments. He'd aged out of foster care 6 months ago. Had been couch surfing with friends until he wore out his welcome, then sleeping rough for the past 3 weeks. He'd been trying to save money for a security deposit on a room somewhere, but minimum wage jobs were hard to come by for someone without a permanent address. "I've got an idea," Sarah said, looking at Marta, who nodded before Sarah even finished the thought. "We could use someone to help with the evening shift," Marta said. "Just a few hours, cleaning up, prepping for the next day. Doesn't pay much, but it comes with dinner and a warm place to sleep upstairs. There's a small storage room we could convert." Marcus stared at them both. "Why would you do that?" Sarah remembered asking Marta the same question 3 months ago. "Because everyone deserves a chance to get back on their feet. And because," Marta added with a knowing smile, "kindness works best when it keeps moving." By spring, the cafe had become something more than just a place to grab coffee. Word had somehow gotten around that Marta's was a place where people looked out for each other, where a kind word came free with every order, where someone having a bad day might find their coffee mysteriously upgraded or their tab quietly settled by a previous customer. Marcus had blossomed in the months since Sarah found him in that doorway. The wary teenager had transformed into a confident young man who could work the register with easy charm and remember the names of regular customers. He was saving money, taking night classes, and had even started dating a girl from his GED program. One afternoon in May, as Sarah was wiping down tables, she overheard Marcus talking to a customer, a well-dressed businessman who was impatiently tapping his fingers while Marcus carefully counted change. "Could you move a little faster?" the man snapped. "Some of us have actual jobs to get to." Marcus's face flushed, but he maintained his polite demeanor. "Sorry, sir, just want to make sure I give you the right change." The businessman snatched his coffee and stormed out, muttering something about kids these days, loud enough for everyone to hear. Sarah saw Marcus's shoulders sag slightly, the confidence draining from his posture. She was about to go comfort him when another customer, an elderly woman who had been waiting behind the businessman, stepped up to the counter. "Don't you pay any attention to that rude man," she said firmly. "You were being careful and professional, which is exactly what you should be doing. He's the one who should be ashamed of himself." She paused, then added with a conspiratorial whisper, "Between you and me, I hope his coffee is cold by the time he gets wherever he's rushing to." Marcus grinned, his good humor restored. "Thanks, Mrs. Chen, that means a lot." Mrs. Chen, no relation to Sarah despite sharing a surname, had become one of their most faithful regulars since her husband died the previous winter. She came in every Tuesday and Friday for a decaf latte and a blueberry scone, always sat at the table by the window, and had gradually become like a grandmother to both Sarah and Marcus. "That young man reminds me of my grandson," she told Sarah later as she prepared to leave. "Same good heart, same determination to do right by people."